The Nicaraguan government has seized the former embassy of diplomatic offices in Taiwan. They're saying that they belong to China. I mean, President Daniel Ortega's government broke off the relations with Taiwan this month, saying it would recognize only the mainland government. Before departing, Taiwanese diplomats attempted to donate the properties of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Managua. Joining us now to discuss this, Gordon Chang, the author of The Great U.S.-China Tech War and the Coming Collapse of China. Gordon, appreciate you coming on. I think I had you on last night when I was in for Greg Kelly, which is always a great thing. This is a big deal here. So the Nicaraguan government has just handed this over to China, saying we don't recognize Taiwan. How big of an impact is this globally?
Well, first of all, this was private property. It belonged to Taiwan. Now, Daniel Ortega, the president of Nicaragua, I mean, if he wants to recognize China, that's his business, but he can't confiscate the property. And by the way, he confiscated it from the Roman Catholic Church because Taiwan actually sold it to the church prior to the confiscation. But the bigger story here is it's not just that one country. It's throughout this hemisphere. There is a leftist wave, and it is sweeping both South America and Central America. And the United States is doing very little to stop it.
Yeah, well, I think, I agree with you that America is not really stepping up on the global stage there. We saw this with Afghanistan, too, and I want to get back to Nicaragua in a minute, but Afghanistan, America we just vanished. Poof, we're gone. China moves right in, and now they're in control of a $1 trillion lithium mine, which, by the way, the U.S. government is saying we got to go everything electric and battery-powered cars and all that stuff. We need lithium for that. What is going on here?
Well, certainly what we did in Afghanistan was we allowed the Chinese to take over. And this is, we're increasing our dependence on China in our supply chains. And that's exactly the wrong direction that we need to go. Also, you have the Biden administration just last week approving aid to Afghanistan. And just yesterday, they abolished the Electoral Commission and 2 ministries, one of them on democracy. So really what we see is a continuing failure of the United States in Afghanistan. It just wasn't the debacle in August. It's now continuing, Carl. Yeah,
it definitely is. And the problem is China, they're not stupid. They're going out there and they're saying, hey, this country over here, you got some economic woes and you need some help with maybe some global presence, maybe a little military reassurances. We'll come in there, we'll help you out, give us a couple ports. China just opened another port in the Atlantic Ocean, which is very scary to America. But these countries are doing this in conglomeration and in exchange for not recognizing Taiwan on a global scale. How many of these countries does China have to have influence on to say that Taiwan's not a real place and it actually belongs to us before they actually have a global standing to say that Taiwan is not a free and fair country?
Yeah, Taiwan now is recognized by only 14 countries around the world, and there are about 200 countries, so that is a very small percentage. Taiwan still is an independent society. It maintains that it is a sovereign country, and by the Montevideo Convention, it does look like a sovereign country. But nonetheless, as you point out, once you have more and more of these countries break their relations with Taipei, then its sovereignty is put into doubt.
Right. That's a pretty scary thing. Now, Dr. Charles Lieber, the chair of the Department of Chemistry and Chemical Biology at Harvard University, was recently convicted on multiple counts, including lying about receiving payments from Chinese governments, the 1,000 Talents Project. You probably heard of this one. Do you think his conviction should serve as a wake-up call to U.S. scientists and universities that, hey, stop getting money from these guys?
Well, it should serve as a wake-up call, but it's not, because we see the academic community rallying behind Charles Lieber. Now, those 6 counts, which the jury convicted him on, and those were the only counts in question, he was guilty dead to rights. There was no question about his guilt, and I'm really surprised he even went to trial. But nonetheless, you have America's academics saying, oh, we shouldn't be investigating Chinese links to American campuses. Charles Lieber was the victim of selective prosecution. This is racial profiling, because they're talking about the China Initiative, which is the Justice Department's program to investigate these links. It started in 2018 under the Trump administration, and the Biden administration is now under fierce criticism from academia. A friend of mine says about 10% of academics in the U.S. have been bought by China. This is a critical problem because Beijing is weaponizing our universities against us.
Yeah, well, the Chinese government is a communist government. And when people think of communists, they're like, oh, that's something that happened back during the Cold War. That's not a thing anymore. Let's do these socialist policies now. And they don't understand that creeping gradualism that leads you to a totalitarian government like China. But you've seen China creep in. They've come into our movie communities. We've seen stars come out and apologize, NBA, our sports. They've even just shown recently that one company took down negative reviews of a book from China. I mean, this is a big one, but Walmart, they're facing big-time criticism on Chinese social media platforms as Weibo users, the big box retailers, stopped offering products from the Xinjiang province in China based on, all these stores based in the Xinjiang province. They won't sell goods made there because they're known for using slave labor. And the Chinese social media and the governments are freaking out about this. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah. On Weibo, there's a lot of criticism of Walmart because people are saying that they cannot find online products made in Xinjiang, which is the northwestern part of China where China's committing crimes against humanity, genocide, other atrocities. The United States, President Biden just signed the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. Over his objections, by the way. He only signed it after he realized that both houses of Congress passed it with veto-proof majorities. But, U.S. companies are now in a dilemma because China demands that they stock products that are made with forced and slave labor. And the United States is saying, no, you can't do it. So I think that we need to get our companies out of China because we should not have them supporting these atrocities. And these atrocities, Carl, by the way, they're comparable to those of the Third Reich prior to the mass exterminations of 1941. We can't have U.S. companies complicit in this.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And real quick, I got about 30 seconds left. Do you think China is deliberately, Joe Biden goes out and says, restaurants are the key to our economy. Immediately, China cut imports and exports on paper products, plastic silverware, things like that they imported. Cars and trucks, we can't get the chips because they're calling it supply chain crisis. Do you think China's doing this deliberately on us?
Some of the things that China is doing are deliberate. Some of them are unintentional. But both of those, both the deliberate and the unintentional, are aggravating our supply chain crisis.
Yeah. Well, Gordon Chang, we appreciate your insight on this, sir. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Carl, and Happy New Year.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV because we're real news for real people.